What's going on, everyone? Ronan here, and welcome back to the channel. We got a lot of things to cover today, and as we inch closer to the end of this what if, it's becoming somewhat nostalgic for me because this is, at this point, the longest running one that I have on the channel. But that doesn't mean that things are gonna be losing any steam anytime soon. But before we get into today's stuff, we gotta do the usual things, like the shout out, which today is gonna be Holosif. And also, I'm gonna need you guys to do the usual thing. Take a look at this analytical stat bar. Don't forget to drop a like, a comment, and a subscribe, and turn on notifications so that way you'll never miss an upload. But with all that being said, let's get into What If Indigo Champion Ash challenges the Johto League, Season 2, Part 13. I hope you enjoy. We begin today's episode with Ash and Vincent as they arrive in Blackthorn City. Unfortunately for the couple, they have arrived a little late in the day, and they're going to be forced to stay at the Pokemon Center, as the gym is probably closed at this point. However, this is a blessing in disguise, as it's going to allow them to get their Pokemon looked at before their big gym battle in the morning. Considering this is the 8th and final gym of the region, it's most likely the most powerful. So, they head to the Pokemon Center to get everyone checked out. Later that night, after all the Pokemon checkups have been completed, Vincent and Ash are laying in their room. However, they're not just laying in silence, because from the mountains around the city, they can hear loud roars that are echoing throughout the canyon, as well as brief tremors that vibrate the floor of the Pokemon Center. But this doesn't have the boys worried, as they have something much more pressing on their mind, as both Ash and Vincent are arguing over who's going to get the chance to battle the gym first, to which Ash makes the claim that Vincent battled Price first, so this time it should be him that gets the chance to battle. But Vincent is adamant that he should get the chance to battle, as he doesn't want a chance for Ash to spoil what type of Pokemon they use. Unfortunately, this conversation goes on back and forth for a little while longer. That is, until they both decide that there's only one way that they can hash this out, and that's with a game of rock, paper, scissors. A best 2 out of 3. Luckily for our hero, Ash actually wins this, and that gives him the right to challenge the gym leader first. With this, both our heroes decide that it's time to turn in, with Ash falling fast asleep, dreaming of the type of Pokemon he's going to get a chance to meet in the morning, while Vincent just lays in bed a little bit unhappy that he's going to have to sit and wait and have the surprise of the gym spoiled. But this is where his inner thoughts are going to be interrupted, because now that he's not arguing with Ash, the roars and the tremors that come from outside the Pokemon Center are something that does capture the boy's attention, and unfortunately this is going to be a bad thing for Vincent because he's not going to get a chance to sleep as much as he wants. However, try as he might, morning eventually comes, and after a hearty meal at the Pokemon Center, both of the boys set out for the gym. However, there's something that they notice as they get closer to the building. The roars and the tremors that they've been feeling throughout the night are intensifying, like the gym is the source of the disruptions. And when they get outside of the main doors, that is when it's at the most intense. Knowing that this could be an actual gym battle coming from within the building, Ash recommends that they go inside, so that way if they have the chance, he could still stake his claim to the battle. However, once they get inside, the building is eerily quiet from within, only being met by an old man that greets the boys, informing them that he is the elder of the Dragon Clan, to which Ash and Vincent both respond that they are here for a gym battle. But unfortunately, they are informed that the gym leader is indisposed at the moment, dealing with some personal family issues, so they're going to have to come back at a later date for whatever gym battles they may be seeking. While Ash is a bit bummed of this, Vincent isn't going to take this answer laying down, telling the old man that if he's not shown the way to where the gym leader is, then he's going to have to go looking for them himself. And it would be a terrible shame that if somebody that went seeking the gym leader gets lost and disappears in the mountains around the Blackthorn City. That could look really bad on the Dragon Clan, don't you think? You're really willing to steep so low, young man? To which Vincent simply replies with a sly smirk, saying it would be a shame if he went missing. Hanging his head, the elder tells the boys to follow him. He will lead them to the gym leader. The duo follow the old man through the gym and down to a passage that seems to be cut out of the rock. It's here that Vincent begins to trip out, as he doesn't do too good in tight spaces, but Ash tells him that they need to hurry up or they'll lose the old man, and besides, this is what he wanted. They're going to get a chance to meet and battle with the gym leader. Ash then disappears into the cave with Vincent running behind him, telling the champion to wait up. He doesn't want to be left alone. However, as they traverse the darkness of the cave, the rumbling and the vibrations begin to grow more intense, causing Vincent to freak out a bit. However, this has the exact opposite impression on Ash, as he's excited to see what this is coming from. Maybe this is the gym leader training, and this is how strong they actually are. The traversing of the dark tunnel seems to take forever, but eventually a light begins to break through, and they find themselves at an opening that leads into a meadow that's surrounded by towering walls of rock and granite. It is here that the two boys get an answer to what the rumbling and the vibrations along with the loud roars are. There are two Dragonite that are clashing with all of their might inside of this meadow, like they are battling for supremacy. However, that's not what has Ash's attention. What has his attention is the people that are standing at the base where the Dragonite are battling. One of them is someone he knows all too well, Lance, and next to him is a blue-haired girl, and then someone that Ash thought he wouldn't see ever again in his life, the trainer he lost to in the Orange Islands, Drake. This is where the Elder interrupts the two battling Dragonite, calling to the girl with blue hair, Master Claire, you have challengers. This causes the two Dragonite to stop battling dead in their tracks as Lance gives the order to do so. Ah, Ash, I was wondering when you would make it here, but I figured it wouldn't be too long after Mahogany Town, the Dragon Master says as Dragonite lands beside him. Lance, what are you doing here? Ash responds, to which he informs Ash that he's actually from Blackthorn City, like he stated when they were back in Mahogany Town, but the boy must not have been listening. However, it doesn't matter, as Lance informs Ash that he is actually the current leader of the Dragon Clan, and during the off-season of the Pokemon League, he comes home to train with his family members who all hold high positions as either gym leaders, Elite Four members, or even champions in some cases. This is where Ash asks a question that's been bugging him. So what is Drake doing here? To which the leader of the Orange Crew responds with a simple hi, and he informs Ash that he's actually cousins with Claire and Lance. His Dragonite, just like Claire and Lance's, were all born here in the Dragon's Den. This is where Claire introduces herself as the leader of the gym in Blackthorn City, and she asks who has come to battle her, to which Ash steps forward. I'll be your first opponent, he says. This puts a smile on Claire's face as she was told by Lance that the champion of the Kanto region was competing in the Johto League, so she knew at one point she was going to get a chance to battle him, and she wants to see exactly what Ash had that allowed him to beat her cousin, considering Lance is the strongest of the three of them. With a fire in her belly, Claire tells Ash that she would love to battle him, so why don't they head back to the gym so they can get underway? Ash is ever more excited as well. However, this excitement isn't going to last, as a loud roar can be heard off in the distance, and then two shadowy figures appear with their backs to the sun in the sky, and they are heading in the direction of our heroes and everyone else. This causes both of the Dragonite to get very defensive as the mood drastically shifts to one of defense and concern. However, the tension of the situation is quickly broke when a flamethrower engulfs Ash out of nowhere. It is here that the boy yells, Charizard, is that you? To which the shadows slowly come visible, revealing that it's not only Charizard, but the leader of the Charcivic Valley, Liza, and Charizard's girlfriend, Charla. The fire lizard lands next to its trainer with another flamethrower engulfing it, happy to see him for the first time since Goldenrod City. This whole spectacle has everyone confused. However, things are quickly caught up when Liza explains that she often comes to the Dragon Den to visit her friend Claire, and that Ash's Charizard has been training in the Charcivic Valley since his early entry into the Johto League. This answers a few questions for Lance, as he was concerned that Ash had released his Charizard, but the fact that he knows that Charizard's been off training is a bit of relief for the Dragon Master. However, all of the happiness and friendship quickly takes a turn when Charizard eyes a person that it hasn't seen in a long time, Drake. The salamander eyes the leader of the Pumelo Gym, growing quiet with a glare that should be able to set him ablaze. Wait, Charizard, are you okay? Ash asks, to which Drake simply laughs. So, it seems you want a rematch, do you? This gets Ash's attention. What do you mean, rematch? Well, Ash, it seems that's exactly what it is. Your Charizard is eyeing me down, like it wants a chance to battle my Dragonite once again. Remember, it lost to my Dragonite, which is ultimately what cost you your run in the Orange League. Is this true, our hero asks? To which Charizard says nothing, refusing to break eye contact with Drake. Now Ash has something he has to think about. He was about to have a gym battle with Claire, and now this has popped up. And he ultimately decides that while the gym battle with Claire is important, he can do that at any time. This is a point of pride for the fire starter, and Ash is not going to let Charizard down. Okay, Charizard, if you want a battle, then we will have a battle. What do you say, Drake? Will you accept our challenge? To which Drake simply shrugs. Dragonite hasn't had a chance to stretch its wings since they got here, since Lance has been hogging up all the training with the Master Dragonite. So he would love a chance for his Dragonite to get some battling before they have to head home. So Drake agrees to the rematch. However, this leaves another matter unattended to, as Claire was planning a gym battle, so she's a bit down. However, Vincent quickly steps in, saying that he was also here to challenge her, and since Ash isn't going to be the one to take the battle today, how about him? Claire thinks this over. While she did want a chance to test her strength against the Indigo champion, this boy will be a suitable substitute if he's been traveling with Ash for the time being. So she accepts the challenge, to which her, Vincent, and the Dragon Master decide to head inside of the gym, while Lance, Ash, and Drake decide to stay in the Dragon's Den to use that as their battlegrounds. So with the lines now drawn, everybody heads their separate ways, as Charizard now Ash stand ready for the one rematch that the two never expected to get. Over with Vincent and Claire, the two are talking as they enter the gym. Claire wants to know her opponent a little bit before they start the battle, considering he's been traveling with Ash. And this is where Vincent goes to explain the entire story of how him and Ash met and all the adventures they've had together so far. Vincent says he's really lucky to have been traveling with Ash, considering Ash is kind of a hero to him. He's the whole reason why he wanted to set out on a Pokemon journey in the first place. If Ash could become a champion at 10 years old, then there's no reason why Vincent couldn't become one either. He's quite the inspiration, I'll give him that, Claire responds. My cousin Lance speaks very highly of him. However, you must know, just because you're friends with Ash doesn't mean that I'm going to go easy on you. I, Claire, of the Blackthorn City Gym, accept your challenge. This will be a 3-on-3 Pokemon battle. I will not be allowed substitutions, while you will. The battle will be over when one side is out of all of their Pokemon. Do you agree to these terms? Vincent yells that he does as the two take their positions on opposite ends of the battlefield. With a smile, Claire readies a Pokeball in her hand as the first choice is given. Gyarados, you're up. The atrocious Pokemon emerges from its ball and snakes its way into the pool that is part of the battlefield. Vincent knows that Gyarados is a water and flying type, so he has one option on his team that would be the best counter to this, as he declares, Magneton, go! The magnetic Pokemon emerges from its ball, hovering across the battlefield ready for Vincent's commands, to which the boys' hopes are simple. Its steel typing will provide the defense needed, while its electric typing will give them an overwhelming advantage to take an early win. As the battle is signaled to start, Claire starts things off, calling for a Hyper Beam, to which Vincent counters immediately with a Flash Cannon. The two moves collide, enveloping the entire gym in a bright light as we fade back out to the Dragon's Den to where Ash and Drake stand across from each other. The leader of the Pumelo Gym is in the same boat as Ash. He didn't think that he would get a chance to re-battle the boy, especially after he had heard Ash had beaten his cousin Lance. So this is going to be an unexpected treat for him, as he declares, Dragonite, you're up! Emerging from its ball, the Dragon-type Pokemon plops down right in front of its trainer, ready for a chance to battle. However, this is where we notice something. Before, when Charizard and Dragonite fought, Charizard was slightly smaller than the Dragon-type. However, since their last altercation, it's shown here that Charizard has been training drastically, as Dragonite is now on equal size with the Fire Lizard. Drake is the first one to notice this, complimenting Ash on the training that he's done with Charizard, to which Ash tells Drake that he can't take all the credit. Charizard has been training in the Civic Valley for quite some time now. We spent so much time together that I was relying on it too much, and it was making me weaker as a trainer. So our time apart has forced us both to grow in ways that we don't know yet, but I can guarantee you we're gonna demonstrate it in this battle. Drake likes the sound of this, considering the last time that they battled, Charizard barely listened to Ash. Lance has decided to be the judge for this unofficial Pokemon battle, as Liza and Charla sit back watching Charizard and the fruits of its labor. With their signal for their bout to begin, Drake gives the first command, ordering an extreme speed from Dragonite. The pseudo-legendary demonstrates that it hasn't been just sitting idly by since the time that they battled last, as it bolts in the direction of Charizard as Ash orders it to take to the air. However, while Charizard's size and power may have increased from its training, that doesn't mean that its speed is greater than Dragonite's, and it's displayed here when the extreme speed connects, knocking Charizard back as it was just beginning to gain altitude. However, they're not going to take this lying down, as Ash calls for a flamethrower, to which the Firestarter quickly responds, sending a burst in the direction of Dragonite. Unfortunately, the residuals of its extreme speed are in display here, as Dragonite is able to use it to evade the attack rather easily. However, this wasn't Ash's true intent. It was merely a distraction, allowing Charizard to create the space needed for it to climb higher, so that way it can gain the area supremacy. Seeing that they were baited, Drake orders Dragonite in with a Thunder Punch. However, because Dragonite is lower than Charizard, Ash is able to use this to his advantage, as he orders the Fire Lizard to dive down and hit it with the Metal Claw. Using its size and weight to his advantage, Charizard does this, as the Metal Claw connects with a Thunder Punch, overpowering it and smashing Dragonite into the head with Charizard's knuckles. Ash then quickly follows this up with the Flamethrower, to which Drake quickly counters with an extreme speed that Dragonite is able to quickly enact, allowing it to barely evade the Fire-type attack. Ash realizes that they're on a losing end here, as Charizard's lack of speed could be the same downfall as before, as Dragonite used its superior speed to secure the attack that beat them last time. But the boy is not going to give up, as he orders the Fire Lizard to use another Metal Claw. Back over with Vincent, we are in the midst of the second battle with these two. While Magneton was able to overpower Gyarados thanks to its typing, it quickly fell to Claire's next choice, her Kingdra. And this is where we find Vincent as his strongest Pokemon, his starter, Meganium, is now in the midst of an all-out battle with Kingdra. Vincent is doing his best, having Meganium use a Reflect to stave off as much physical damage as possible. However, unfortunately for him, Kingdra is mostly special offensive, so Reflect isn't going to do much, and Meganium has been taking a pounding from attacks like Dragon Pulse and Hydro Pump. And let's not forget the insult to injury that's been added with the increase of speed from Kingdra's agility. Vincent is finding himself in quite the predicament, and Meganium is beginning to tire, while it's only caused minimal damage to Kingdra. However, both are too stubborn to give up, as Vincent decides to use their trump card, Solar Beam. The petals around Meganium's neck begin to glow as Kingdra comes in for another attack. Vincent frantically tells Meganium to do whatever it can to evade and dodge whatever Kingdra throws at it, which in this case just so happens to be another Dragon Pulse. While the cyclone of Dragonic energy is powerful, it is extremely focused, and this plays well to the strategy that Vincent is trying, as Meganium is able to sidestep it, avoiding any major damage. But unfortunately for the boy, this was all part of Claire's tactic, as Meganium is then pelted by some levitating stars as she calls for a Swift. Realizing they're only going to have one shot at this, Vincent tells Meganium to charge directly into the attack. This gives the grass type just enough time to finish charging the Solar Beam, as it meets Kingdra face to face, letting loose all of the solar energy that it's been storing over the last turn. Light envelops everything across the battlefield as we fade back over to Ash. There is a dust cloud in front of our hero, and in it, the silhouette of Charizard. However, this isn't something that the lizard caused, this was something that was done to the lizard, as it was driven into the ground when Drake gave a command to his Dragonite, Outrage. A frenzy came over the pseudo-legendary as it began to attack erratically and irrationally, causing both Ash and Charizard unable to respond to its move, and this is what led into a massive slam into the ground from the Dragon type. As the dust settles, Charizard is laying in the ground. While its fire is still burning and it is still conscious, it's struggling to stand up from that titanic slam. Come on, Charizard, Ash says. All of that training you've been through was meant for moments like this. I know you can do it. Now, please, stand up. With a mighty roar, Charizard stomps its foot onto the ground, standing back up, ready to engage with Dragonite once more. It is in this moment, Ash witnesses something that he hasn't seen from the lizard before. Charizard is beginning to glow in a red energy as the fire on its tail intensifies. Looks like Charizard's Blaze ability has been activated, Lance says. Blaze? What is that? Ash responds. It's the ability that Charizard has. When its health gets low enough, its body will react in an attempt to preserve itself by increasing the severity of its fire-type attacks. This is something that might just give Ash the advantage he needs, as Dragonite is coming back in for a second Outrage at the command of Drake. Ash uses this chance to blank the Dragon's sight as he orders Charizard to use a Flamethrower. Unable to see where its target is, Dragonite just skates through the fire, only to find that Charizard has used this opening to gain altitude once more. Drake orders Dragonite to take to the air. Charizard is above it. However, they need to be wary of that Blaze ability and the Flamethrower. They can't fall for that again. If they give Charizard another opening, then it could be the end of them. However, the problem that Drake faces here is Dragonite is locked into Outrage, and it proves this when it tries for another attack on Charizard, which unfortunately is going to result in something that nor Lance or Drake was expecting, as Ash calls for a move that neither one of them knew that Charizard could do. Dragon Pulse! As Charizard glows in its red aura, it lets loose a swath of Dragonic energy that collides with Dragonite, stunning the pseudo-legendary in midair. Drake knows that this is bad and they need to create some distance, so he orders Dragonite to use an extreme speed. However, this is where the gamble of using Outrage is going to come back to bite him, as Outrage has ran its course, and now Dragonite is stricken with the confusion, not responding to Drake's commands, as it thrashes about mid-air, unsure of what to do next. Realizing this is their opening, Ash orders for a combo move. He tells Charizard to hit it with the Flamethrower. As Dragonite is unable to respond to Drake's commands, it is engulfed with the Fire-type attack, only to be met with some more bad news, as Ash gives his second command for a Seismic Toss. Now using its new size, Charizard is able to wrap its arms around Dragonite as it flails about, unable to do anything, while engulfed with flames. The Fire Lizard pulls the pseudo-legendary in close as it darts towards the ground with as much speed and force as it can muster. A mere milliseconds later, a loud thud can be heard as a tremble rings throughout everywhere, including the gym, as we catch up with Claire and Vincent in their battle. As we see the final two combatants of this gym battle, on Claire's side, her ever-faithful Dragonair, while on Vincent's side, a Pokemon that we have not seen him use before, a Kangaskhan. You see, when we faded away last time, while Meganium's solar beam wasn't enough to put down Kingdra, it did cause great damage, and in the end, it was able to secure a victory by using a poison powder that, even though wouldn't work while it was still around, did allow Kangaskhan to end the battle with the poison taking effect and landing a Mega Punch that dropped the Dragon type, giving the Vincent the win over Claire's second Pokemon. This is where we pick up as both Pokemon feel the tremor from the battle outside. This is where Vincent makes the comment that both Ash and Drake are battling their hardest, not holding anything back, so there's no reason that they should do any less. Claire seconds this, telling them that they need to turn up the heat, so she orders Dragonair to use an Iron Tail, to which Kangaskhan quickly counters with a double hit, one to knock away the tail, and the second one to knock Dragonair in the head. This causes the Serpent to become woozy for a brief second, with Vincent trying to capitalize, ordering Kangaskhan to use another Mega Punch. Realizing that this could be the end of them, Claire orders a Haymaker and Hyper Beam in hopes of staving off the normal type attack. As the two moves collide, an explosion is let loose, as we fade back out to the Dragon's Den, where a cloud of dust from the collision that Charizard and Dragonite had with the ground is beginning to settle, and there stands Charizard over Dragonite that has spirals in its eyes as the fire starter lets out a breath of flame, establishing its victory over the pseudo-legendary. Ash erupts in celebration with Pikachu as he rushes in to hug his fire starter. Charizard, you did it! I knew we could! All of that training that you've been through, it paid off! Charizard simply looks at its trainer, happy that it was able to finally get a rematch against one of the greatest foes that it ever had. This is where Lance and Drake approach, as Drake recalls Dragonite so it can get some much needed rest. Ash, that battle was great. I'm glad that you and Charizard have come as far as you have in the last year, Drake says as he shakes the hand of the boy. I can see why you were able to beat my cousin Lance. Just know though, that just because you beat us this time, the next time you may not be so lucky. Oh, don't worry Drake, me and Charizard will be ready for a rematch whenever you are. This is where both Vincent and Claire emerge into the den, as they have finished their gym battle. Vincent, were you able to win, Ash says, to which the boy responds, you know Ash, Claire is the toughest gym battle I've had in all of Johto. For a moment, I didn't think we would be able to do it. Then, Vincent flashes the badge of the Blackthorn gym, revealing that he was able to barely beat Claire. Your friend is quite the powerful trainer, Claire says, so I'm gonna have to make sure I pull out all the stops for you, Ash, when we battle in the morning. Ash tells Claire that he can't wait. He plans to bring his best against the Dragon-type trainer. And this is where we are going to end things from now. So tell me, how did you guys feel about this part? How did you enjoy the return of Charizard and the rematch that it got to have with Drake and his Dragonite? How did you feel about my twist in making Drake part of the Dragon Clan from Johto? How did you feel about Vincent's battle that he had with Claire? And of course, are you excited for the next part? Because this is going to be the final gym challenge of this What If. Let me know in the comments down below. And that's all we had for today's video. I really appreciate you guys stopping by to watch all the way to the end, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. If you guys really enjoy my content, consider following me on some of my other platforms like Discord, where you can get to know other people who are interested in what ifs, or on Twitter, where I post sometimes behind the scenes updates. Or if you want to help the channel grow a little bit extra, why don't you consider donating like the people right here have, as whatever you could offer could help us get to a larger audience by helping us get new videos done, or some of the projects that we've been working. Custom art is getting kind of expensive, so we want to make sure that we have the funds to do that. But with all that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed everything, and I will see you in the next video.